Jesus is king. Let's start there, because that's the truth the world most desperately needs and most fiercely resists. Not Jesus was king, not Jesus will be king. Jesus is king right now, forever, unchallenged. From boardrooms to battlefields, from political chambers to media platforms, forces are at work trying to erase this reality. Zionist powers, globalist elites, secular movements all seek to control the narrative. And the one narrative they can't abide is this: Jesus is king. But truth has a way of breaking through. Why the declaration, Jesus is king, shakes the powers of this world. Say it out loud: Jesus is king. What happens? You'll find pushback, you'll find censorship, you'll find attempts to label you extreme, outdated, dangerous even. Why? Because the kingship of Jesus challenges every false authority. It exposes the limits of human rule. It reminds both rulers and rebels that they are accountable to a higher throne. Yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. Psalm 2:6 KJV. Governments can pass laws, corporations can craft policies, media can spin stories, but none can dethrone Christ. His kingship isn't symbolic, it's reality. The kingship of Christ, not just theology, fact. The modern church has too often reduced Jesus is king to a nice phrase for hymns or bumper stickers. But the early Christians didn't die for poetry. They died because they declared, in the face of Roman power, Jesus is king, not Caesar. When Paul wrote, "Wherefore God also hath highly exalted him, and given him a name which is above every name," Philippians 2:9 KJV, he wasn't being poetic. He was issuing a revolutionary fact, a fact that turned the world upside down, a fact that still does. What Jesus is king means today, and why it's dangerous to say so. Today, this declaration threatens Zionist efforts to dominate spiritual discourse, secular agendas that demand loyalty to man-made systems, religious syncretism that dilutes Christ's exclusive reign. For he must reign, till he hath put all enemies under his feet. 1 Corinthians 15:25, KJV. In proclaiming Jesus is king, you announce, no government owns me, no ideology controls me, no human power defines truth for me. I belong to the King of Kings. Jesus is king, the focus of all history. From Genesis to Revelation, the Bible points to one reality: Jesus is king. Genesis 49:10, KJV. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. Psalm 2, KJV. A warning to kings who resist the Messiah's rule. Isaiah 9:7, KJV. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end. Matthew 28:18, KJV. All power is given unto me in heaven and in earth. Revelation 19:16, KJV. King of kings and Lord of lords. History is his story. Every ruler, empire, movement, and ideology will bow because Jesus is king. The call, proclaim Jesus is king, boldly, now more than ever. We ought to obey God rather than men. Acts 5:29, KJV. This is not the time for soft declarations. This is the time for boldness. The kingship of Christ is not a private opinion. It's a public fact. So let's declare it. Jesus is king over governments. Jesus is king over media. Jesus is king over Zionist and globalist plots. Jesus is king over every nation. Jesus is king over my life. The coming reckoning, every knee shall bow. It doesn't matter whether people acknowledge him today. It doesn't matter how fiercely they try to quell his name. That at the name of Jesus, every knee should bow of things in heaven and things in earth and things under the earth, and that every tongue should confess that Jesus Christ is Lord to the glory of God the Father. Philippians 2:10-11 KJV. Every knee will bow, every tongue will confess. That's not optional, that's inevitable.